Hey guys, what's up? It's Flynn here, and welcome to episode 9 of From Zero, or my From Zero playthrough, where we play Warframe. So I was supposed to be playing the update last week, but unfortunately it didn't come out last week. So jumping back in the bandwagon this week with the From Zero episodes until the update comes out. So expect more Warframe updated content later on this week. That'll be awesome. Probably going to be streaming it. Updates usually come out on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the afternoon if you're in the UK, or maybe earlier on if you're in the USA or whatever. But yeah, like I haven't been playing Warframe that much lately. I've been making the how to farm videos, and the reason that I'm making those how to farm videos, those how to get videos, is simply because I want those to run in line with my beginner guides. The beginner guides I'm still going to be doing this year. I still aim to get 53 episodes out. I am currently like 14 episodes behind. So what I'm going to be doing is getting all those how to get guides out, or how to farm guides out. And then once those are all out, I'm going to be full on making beginner guide. And then everything should kind of just run in conjunction with one another, if that makes any sense. So that's going to be awesome and cool. But what I got to look at is I got to look at my setup right now. So we got Streamline, Intensify Vitality, and Stretch. I accidentally hit the mouse for on my mouse there, and that's why we got took out of that menu early. We got my Maceration, BM Mod, Stormbringer. Can't really throw anything else on. Got my Scanna, Fury, and Pressure Point. Can't really throw anything else on. I guess we can throw on Reach, but that's not really going to help us out too much. What we're going to be doing in today's video is doing one of the requirements for the Phobos Junction, right? And I noticed somebody in the comment section was like, whoa, Flynn, you didn't put vacuum on the optimized slot. What the heck, noob? So I went ahead and fixed that, and I guess I can fix it even further by throwing this one in this optimized slot. But yeah, I read the comments. I made a mistake. Thank you for calling me out. Thank you for calling me a noob. I appreciate it. But what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing the 150 kills on the bad guys on Mars to progress on to Phobos, or at least get one of the things done. We should probably also purchase codex scanners. Codex scanners are going to be big helpful if we come across any of those cephalon fragments. So I actually already have 25. Okay. Don't know where I got those from. They must just come by default. That's cool. Awesome. So I guess let's go ahead and jump into the excavation mission, because that's one that I want to farm, because we're going to get a lot of stuff from it. So what are we going to be talking about in today's From Zero episode? Probably the current state of Warframe video that I made a few days ago. That video is like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. I feel like a lot of people completely missed the point of it, a lot of people took it as me complaining about me having nothing to do in the game, which isn't what I was saying in that video at all whatsoever. And I also wasn't saying in that video that I hated the game. Like, Warframe is one of the most fluid, fun games that I have in my Steam library right now. And I mean, that's emphasized by the fact that I have so many hours on it, but I'm not really complaining for the sake of complaining. And I feel like if I was to make a video talking about how there's nothing for me to do, that would just be me complaining for the sake of complaining, right? I'm more talking about the fact that the content that has been coming out recently for Warframe isn't content that kind of lines up with why I first started playing Warframe, which is why one of the direct quotes in that video was, what Warframe is today is not what Warframe used to be. I think that's the exact words that I used, but something along those lines. But I think that holds true. Like, Warframe for me used to be this really awesome, fun co-op experience, but now it is more of a just, co-op if you need your buddy's relics, and then that's kind of it. So yeah, it's no longer this like really interesting game anymore where well, it is a really interesting game. It's got a lot of depth, and every single Warframe has their own awesome, unique play styles, right? Not play style, play styles. You can play frames multiple different ways. But it's not really required to have a certain team setup anymore, right? And that's simply because the type of content that you have to play now doesn't require that type of attitude towards, you know, your gear setup. You can pretty much play anything you want outside of certain game modes like ESO or Eidolons or something. So, and those are two things that you're not really required to do. Like with Warframe, you used to be required to jump into the Void and do missions. Oh, here's our first appearance of the Stalker in this account. You just have to jump into the Void and survive for as long as possible to get as much gear as possible. And that was really, really fun and cool. And it gave the players the options to either, you know, do their 20 waves and back out or stay to get more loot. And they implemented the relic system and kind of gave you a full sense of player choice onto what game modes you want to do, right? It just kind of, I don't want to say belittle, but it made, you know, the player who wanted to really push himself to the limit, it made their time on the game a lot less valuable, right? I don't know if I'm going to be able to kill this buddy boy, because I don't really have the loadout for this, so I might just have to take the hit and let him kill me. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Rest in peace, F in the comment section. But yeah, like that video, the current state of Warframe video, it wasn't made to complain or anything like that, which is how a lot of people take it or took it. And it wasn't meant for people to completely miss the point and be like, yo, well, you have 4,000 hours in the game, of course, you know, you're gonna get bored of it. It's not that I'm bored of the game. I very much love Warframe. I love the gameplay. I love the depth of all the frames and stuff like that. I just wish that there was more reason to explore that depth. You know what I mean? That is kind of the idea behind that video, you know? And how some of the core systems that they added into Warframe is well, us not having that much of an interest in pushing ourselves to the limit in Warframe anymore, unless you're like just interested in all the Warframes, which of course has a cap, has that artificial PvE wall, which you're going to get bored off eventually, right? You're going to hit it eventually, and then you're going to get bored, which is totally fine. That exists in every single PvE game. I'm not oblivious to that fact, right? Like, I know we're going to run out of content eventually, but it's just change of the core systems gives you less of a reason to explore the depth within Warframe. And then current content that has been coming out recently, it feels like it's more of a, all right, well, we're gonna make this really big epic thing to sort of wow the crowd and get them to download our game just to check out this really big epic thing, right? So Plains of Eidolon, right? It's like free-to-play game goes open world, and then you have you know, or Valis free-to-play game has another open world like another year in a row, and then you have Railjack, so it's like now we have better space combat in our free-to-play game, right? So we had Arcwing, but Arcwing was a total flop. I wasn't really any the wiser back whenever they were releasing Arcwing. Like, I never really seen it as a market employee. I thought it was just like a new tech on Warframe. Which I guess, like, if you're a new player, the Warframe now, you can kind of view Railjack in the same light. But the thing is, like, as I've kind of aged with Warframe, right? I've been playing Warframe since I was 14, and I'm 20 now. It kind of does come across that way, like, okay, they're just adding this into the game to kind of get new players on. Which isn't a bad thing, right? Because obviously more players means more money for the company, and pleasing investors and whatnot by showing them growth of the game, more users on, and more users means more money, etc., etc. Like, that's great and everything, but you know, there comes a time where you kind of have to bite the bullet and say, all right, well, we have like loyal players that we kind of have to appeal to sort of keep them around, because right now I'm not the only person saying what I'm saying, right? The game is in a very, very stale state if you know, have been playing for a while. If you are a completely new player, dude, you're in luck. We've almost got our 150 kills. If you're a new player, you're in luck because you have a shit ton of stuff to do. But if you've been playing Warframe, like, let's say you stopped playing before Plains of Eidolon came out, you don't really have much to do. Like, Plains of Eidolon offered you a faster way to farm your focus. it offered you amps, and it offered you, you know, the Eidolons, which I think the Eidolons are and they are not the best fight in the game, like the best boss fight in the game. I say that they are and they are not because it kind of forces you into using a certain setup, right? So you can't just use any frame or any loadout, which was kind of the initial appeal to Warframe for a lot of players. Like, you can get what you want and then you can use what you want, you know, that type of thing. Doesn't stay true in that sense, but, you know, that's sort of like, okay, you have to be using this set of gear or this type of gear, and then if you have this certain thing maxed out, then you are going to do the fight a lot more efficiently, right? So that, and that aspect is cool. It's like a player who plays longer is going to be rewarded, and players who sort of master the system are going to be rewarded even further. I think that that's awesome, but you know, you can definitely make an argument for either side. So the other side of that is like, if you make a boss fight which is designed for everybody, you end up with something like the Orb Mother fight, which, yes, the Orb Mother fight was cool because it had the lore attached to it. It's got the cinematic stuff and whatnot, but the fight is just rather boring in my opinion. You know, you pick up a canister, you throw the canister at the boss, and then you shoot him a couple times and you jump on him. It plays a cinematic or whatever. You know, people treated that boss fight whenever it first came out as if it was something revolutionary for Warframe. Like, oh my god, cinematic mid-fight or whatever. And I'm like, you know, the Trials had cinematics, guys. Like, cinematics aren't really anything new to the game, you know. Of course, it didn't have, like, a cinematic that, you know, you jumped up on a boss or anything like that. But cinematics aren't anything to sort of get Omega excited about, right? It's the gameplay, like, your experience playing the game, which you should get excited about. And I do agree that a cinematic portion of a fight can definitely add to that overall experience, but with the Orb Mother, it was kind of like, it should have been treated more like a one and done fight than something that you have to grind over and over and over again for a Warframe Hildren, right? And on top of that, the barrier to entry, the fact that you have to have the Fermia fractures, I don't think that should have existed on a fight which is so easy, I guess you could say, and so kind of you know. I definitely think that it should have been treated more like a one and done fight where it was part of a quest line, and at the end of the quest line you got something like really, really epic, you know. I think that is how I would have preferred that fight to be treated, and then I would have been like, oh yeah, that was a good experience, and then allowed the players to replay it, not for something super valuable, like you don't have to farm it or anything, but you know, just to jump in and play again. It does sort of have a narrative behind it, but I don't know. Was that an Xmas? I couldn't tell. Are we at our 150 kills? We are. We're over it. Nice. Cool. So let's let this extractor do its thing, and then we can go ahead and extract. But yeah, that's my take on the Orb Mother fight. The Orb Mother fight was kind of, it was cool, but it just, I don't know, farming it like was a drag, right? It's something that Warframe did really, really well back in the day, and making it so that you didn't feel like you were doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. But now they've kind of fallen into that trap where they put so much effort into something, it's almost like they're forcing you to do the exact same thing over and over and again. Can't speak. Over and over again. But yeah, so like you had your tile sets, and they would be different every single time. Not drastically different, but you know, you'd have different rooms here and there, just a different layout every single time. That was great. You know, it kept things a little bit fresh, not really, really fresh, but just a little bit fresh, like fresh enough where you didn't feel like you're doing the exact same thing every single time you ran a mission. But now with the likes of the Prophet Taker bounties or the Orb Mother fight, it is the exact same thing every single time. And then you run into the same problem that Anthem had, right? It's like, okay, you can do the Stronghold, but it's going to be the exact same thing, right? And that is where things get really, really especially with the design of the Orb Mother fight, where your gear doesn't necessarily matter, right? You get a Vitality mod, you get a secondary or a primary that has radiation damage on it, and then you're pretty much good to go, right? So kind of fell flat in that area for me, I guess you could say, as a grinding game and somebody who enjoys playing, you know, the game over and over again, but I don't want my grind to be too similar, if that makes any sense. So you want to keep the game fresh in some way, shape, or form, and I completely neglected looking for those thingamajigs. Open the void relics, don't have any. I guess we can do the sabotage mission. Yeah, let's do the sabotage mission and look for these cephalon fragments. This has to be the worst junction requirement ever, like absolutely ever. This is gonna be pretty annoying and tedious, but we'll get there, hopefully. We could use the Thief's Wit mod if I have that, but hopefully with the 4,000 hours or 4,000 plus hours that I have in this game, I should be able to find these cephalon fragments with not too much hassle, unless I like completely look at it and then run past it, which I'm sure if I do that, people will be like, yo Flynn, you completely neglected one. You ran past it, you big idiot. What the heck? What the heck, man? You're only MR26. You call yourself a Warframe pro? That's one thing that I don't like about the community of Warframe, is people are very, very fast to put a title on you, right? So I get branded a Warframe YouTuber, and I mean, like, you can't really blame anybody for saying that, but I'm not really a Warframe YouTuber, right? There's no hidden agenda behind me making Warframe videos, you know? It's no secret that YouTubers make money, right? And of course, like, if you're making money from playing video games, that's awesome. You should keep on doing that. That's a great thing, especially at the young age that I started doing it. You know, it's been great for me because it gave me a lot of freedom to do stuff outside of, you know, going to school and finding job, yada, yada, yada. So, of course, like, you want to keep up your relevance in that sense, but there's no real, like, hidden agenda, or I guess what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't know. Like, there's no real want to sort of be omega entertaining, if you get what I mean. Like, whenever you refer to a YouTuber, you kind of think to yourself, oh, content creator, right? I started making YouTube videos for Warframe with the intention to help people. You know, just help people progress through this game, because I was getting annoyed at the people that I was playing with whenever I was farming my T4 survival, defense keys, what have you. So I was making those videos to sort of refer to people like, hey, dude, if you're struggling modding this weapon, or you just don't get what I'm saying right now, check out this video where I break it down for you. And then, of course, that allowed me to get my first PC and whatnot, and it's kind of just turned into, I don't want to say a job, but more of a hobby that makes me money, right? So I still treat this as a hobby. It's just like I make a video for the sake of keeping a guide updated or something like that. So that's the thing. But yeah, it's all about just helping people and providing that sort of video-like source of knowledge, I guess you could say. Because whenever I was first getting into Warframe, YouTube videos were how I learned, dude. Like, I watched a guy called Calypso Gaming, and he was my source of knowledge for Warframe back whenever I started, and that was the only way that I learned. I have barely ever read the Warframe wiki. Like, sure, I'll read it here and there whenever I need to learn something now, but whenever I first started, like, Warframe wiki, what is that? Like, why would I sit and read, you know? Because I was a college student. I didn't want to sit and read. I wanted to play the game. I wanted to have someone on the background telling me what exactly it is that I have to do. Let's go ahead and hack this so we can get rid of the bad guys. So yeah, like back in my day, I feel like an old timer. It was as simple as just you know, modding your weapon, right? And there wasn't very many different ways to mod your weapon. Now there is a lot of different ways to mod your weapons, but there's not a lot of reason to mod your weapon outside of, like, running, you know, triple elements. So one elemental combo and then another elemental mod on top of that. So like corrosive and fire. Plus then obviously your damage mods. And if you're running a crit weapon, your crit mods. And if you're running status, then status. And there's no real reason to, you know, what's the word? stray away from that. All these guys are like, where are we dying from? Haven't found the Cephalon fragment yet. Most annoying thing, like this is what we're gonna do all of next episode. Just look for this damn Cephalon fragment. Like, if they made it so you only had to scan one Cephalon fragment, awesome, great. I could cope with that, but we have to do 3 of these, and I'm like, no. No. Like, I'm tempted to maybe say that this is where players are gonna quit the game. Like, this is your deciding factor. If you overcome finding Cephalon fragments, you're gonna stick with the game. If you don't, then you're probably not gonna touch this game until they change up some things to do with the beginning experience or whatever. But that's just my personal take on it, I guess you could say. Boom, bad guy dead. Put this thing in this thing. Bring out the Lado. Shoot the things. Melee the thing. Cool. Awesome. Oh, there's still one more. One more set of things that we need to blow up before we can do the other things. Or find the thing. Yeah. The things in Warframe. Things must be my most used word, period. No Cephalon fragment? I'm pretty certain that one always spawns. For all I know, it could be in this room, like the last room. Could be, you know. Could be. And if it's not here, then I definitely missed it. And that's gonna be a big old yikes from me, dude. A huge yikes. Hello, Cephalon fragment. Where are you? Not in here? Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye now. I mean, at least I'm gonna get a lot of XP from killing the bad guys. That's what feels good, man, I guess. I don't think we're anywhere near done anyway. Can't go that way. Are you in here? Please? Nope. 4 bad guys, though. Nothing? Nothing. Am I blind? Absolutely nothing. Big feels bad, man. Huge big feels bad, man. Big upset about that. But that is what it is. I guess I will continue looking for these Cephalon fragments in the next video. Next video is episode 10. Episode 10, and we're already looking for Cephalon fragments. Boy. Boy. Alright, guys. Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button below. And if you'll see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.